Hi there, my name is Toby, and today I want to talk about Egypt. And what's the big deal about ancient Egypt? Why do we see this everywhere? All over the place we've got Egypt. And this is London, and here this is an old world building. This is Alexandra Palace in London, the main entrance hall to this great building. And I'll leave links below to the video I did about the whole building so you can see more in detail. But today I just want to show you this inside area of the main entrance hall, because you've got these two structures that look very much like, straight out of ancient Egypt. You've got a stepped pyramid in the middle, and that was a water feature, and then you've got these obelisks with lights on the top, and you've got sphinxes. So it's very interesting structures. Now they look new, but I do wonder if they could be replicas of the original, or still elements of the original that have been rendered over, repainted. But why is it we're going on and on about ancient Egypt? It's everywhere in the world. Now, this building, Alexandra Palace, they said it was built 1873, and then it burnt down in a fire straight away, and then they rebuilt it in 1875. So within 2 years, they rebuilt it, cleared it up and rebuilt it. So, that already is such an amazing, crazy story. How do we believe that? And there's been other fires, the most recent one, 1980. Again, these buildings always say they burned down, but they're made of stone and metal. These things don't burn. Sure, there's a few plants in here, but all that would do is produce a little fire and you'd get soot. Nothing would collapse, no stone would break. So these buildings were clearly destroyed. They don't burn in a fire, they can't do. And interestingly enough, if they said they built it 1873, 1875, then in 1900 they said there was an Act of Parliament to put this building for the use of the people. So it's only 25 years later. They built it for one purpose, whatever that purpose supposedly is, for the royal family. And then 25 years later, they say, oh, no, now we're going to make it for the people. So again, that's all very short term. It means they're just building these massive structures for no real reason. They don't even know why they're building them. So to me, this is all made up stories. And they always burn down in fires, and they always move them. So many of these buildings, they tell you they've been moved, like Crystal Palace was moved. Ancient Egypt things, they've been moved. So, how often do you hear about buildings being moved? We never move giant buildings, let alone these massive structures, millions of tons of stone, and we move them block by block just for the sake of moving them. No, these are all cover stories. It's a story to destroy one and reveal another. So it means there were loads of these buildings all over the place. And ancient Egypt, okay, again, 1870s, this is the time we're supposedly discovering ancient Egypt. We're just opening up the tombs, finding it. So we're only just discovering it, only just researching it and finding out all the ancient mysticism of Egypt. So, of course, we like that. We like all the spiritual knowledge, the mysticism. So that means they say, well, Egypt is fashionable. So immediately we start building these replica buildings of Egypt all over the world. We're only just discovering them, and then suddenly all over the world we build massive, perfect structures in replica of ancient Egypt. Again, this does not sound plausible to me. These are all far older buildings all over the world, and some people now believe there is more ancient Egypt in America than there is in Egypt. More pyramids, and if you look at the Grand Canyon, in there's meant to be a lot of ancient Egyptian stuff. They've even named some of the mountains that, the Temple of Isis, and you've got the Sphinx, that's in the Grand Canyon, because they look a bit like that. But some people have looked at it, and the measurements, the proportions of it look very perfect. So they could well have been old, very old temples, either weathered or destroyed somehow. So it means this is old stuff. And if you look at this building here, there are other ones of these obelisks around part of the structure. So that makes me think this could be original. These little Egyptian structures in here could be original. Or like I said, at least replicas of something that was original. And you've got plants in here as well. It means they valued plants. They're using this space to grow things. But you see, I think this building, nobody knows what these buildings were really for. And we're just using them now for whatever we think. And when the government says they want it, like they did in 1900, Act of Parliament, so that this building is for the use of the people, yeah, that usually means it's for the use of the authorities themselves. Again, the people in power. So whenever you hear the authorities say this is for the people, it really means it's for themselves. So again, everyone wants to claim these buildings. Everyone knows these are powerful structures. There's something special about them. And all these people knew about ancient Egypt. There was something powerful, something special about the structures, the architecture, the geometries. And again, really, this is all about geometry. And you've got ancient Greek, ancient Roman, and ancient Egyptian, and they all have some similarities in geometry. But really, these are not styles so much as different geometries themselves. Like if you look at ancient Egypt, you're going to see pyramids and you're going to see obelisks. And I don't know if you can see at the top there, the archway, there's two obelisks at the top of those pillars. There, that obelisk. So it looks very similar to the ones in those structures. And maybe there was a light on the top or something else on the top. And perhaps these could have been free energy. This could have been free lights. Again, this would have been an electrostatic building. And with powerful electrostatics, there could be free energy. Again, look at these symbols on the wall. Very interesting symbols. They look, again, that looks to me like electrostatics. Those two little plants. And then you've got a checkerboard with crosses. Again, puzzling as to what these things mean. But all of this stuff will mean something. We don't even realize what it means. They're all symbolism and they're all geometries, and they have a purpose. It's never just for design's sake. Again, that's where we underestimate these buildings and we have been misled about them. So I hope this little talk made sense. I plan to go around London and film more and more buildings in London bit by bit. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in any of these other videos here.